imagine thinking that you know Jesus and then you see him and he says, I never knew you? That is literally the most heartbreaking thing I have ever read in the Bible. I've been reading The Awe of God. I've been telling you guys about this book over the past month, and this book is really challenging me to search my heart and be very intentional with the way that I live for Christ and the way that I represent him in my daily life, and even how I approach him. I'm so grateful for this book. But anyway, today I was reading in chapter 30 of the book, and it's called A Different Jesus. And he was giving this example of, he was going to this conference where he was going to be preaching, and he saw this woman there that was sitting as he was waiting for his hotel, and she was going to a different conference, like a business event. And so this woman starts talking to him, once she realized that he was a Christian, she started talking to him about her faith. And he said this crazy thing. He literally was just like, I knew that this woman did not know Jesus. And so the way that he communicated that to her was so interesting. I just want to read it for a second, but yeah, it said that it didn't take me more than a couple minutes to realize that she didn't know him. She kept confidently stating what she believed, but very little corresponded to what scripture reveals. I silently asked the Holy Spirit for wisdom, and within moments he revealed what to say. Once she finished, I asked, do you see the man sitting across the pool? With a surprised look on her face, most likely from my abrupt changing in the subject, she responded, why, yes. I cheerfully said, his name is Jim. He's from Fresno, California. He lives on a strict vegan diet. His dream is to be on the United States Olympic water polo team. He works out in both the pool and the gym 3 hours a day. His hobbies are pickleball, skydiving, and painting. Jim's married to that woman over there just by the hot tub. Her name is Beth, and she's 10 years younger. And then John responded, no, ma'am. She became more curious. Well, how do you know Jim so well? I then turned, looked her in the eyes, and I stated, I've never met him. Her countenance changed and now showed caution, maybe even concern. Perhaps she wondered if I was a stalker, private detective, or even a government agent. I let it sit for a moment, then confidently said, that's what I believe about him. She was speechless. This is what John said, y'all. This is what got me. He said, you just spoke with great confidence of your belief of who Jesus is, but almost everything that you said about him is not true. It's contrary to what the Bible teaches. I know this because I know him. And then it said the conversation ended and he could obviously tell that she was shaken. But reading that, first of all, John's response was literally so blunt, but so honest. I can only imagine what was going through that lady's head. But I think the thing that stood out to me is because of the intimacy that John Bevere has with the Lord, he was able to detect when somebody did not truly know him based on his relationship. And the example that he gave is if somebody were to try to say something about your mom, right? You know your mom. You've grown up with her prayerfully. You spent time with her. You know her voice. You know her character. You know what she would say, what she wouldn't say. You know these things about her because you spend time with her, right? You know your mom. And so if somebody else was to try to tell you that they knew your mom, right? And you would be able to tell if they were lying or not because you know her. And so the same thing in our relationship with God, the more we spend time with him, the more we begin to know him. So when we see people that speak things that don't represent the character of God, that don't represent what the Bible is saying about who he is, we know that they don't truly know him. And he talked about how you can spend your whole life in church and not know the Lord, right? You can spend your whole life watching all these sermons, but never really know the Lord. And so that's why it's so important to have a personal relationship with God, because that is the only way that you're going to get to experience that intimacy. You can get an encounter in church, but when you leave church, where do you stand with the Lord? Where is your reverence for him? Where is your awareness of him, right? The book is just so good, okay? The book is so good. So that's something that I've been studying. Like I said, I'm almost done with this book. And there was another part in the book where he was talking about Moses and the Israelites' lack of holy fear, but it showed the contrast that Moses did have holy fear of the Lord. And it talked about this one time where basically God wanted to invite the Israelites into his presence, but they were so afraid because the last time they were I can't believe we survived. We heard God and we lived. And so Moses was used to talking face to face with the Lord as in a term of intimacy. And so when the Israelites were invited to this moment, they rejected it because they were so afraid, right, of God. More so it's their eyes were open and they had this reverence for him that they couldn't just come any type of way. And so Moses asked the question basically saying he was confused as to why the Israelites like rejected it. And he said to the Lord, basically, why can't they come into your presence and intimately know you as I do, right? That's just the summary, or kind of like a paraphrase for what Moses was asking. And God answers in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 29, saying, oh, that they had such a heart in them that they would fear me. And so one of the reasons why Moses was able to be so intimate with the Lord and be in close proximity was because he had a healthy fear of him. He had a healthy reverence, right? And that was something that the Israelites lacked until that moment where they recognized whose presence they were stepping in. So for me, this has been pivotal because it's changing the way I approach the Lord. Like I said, this is not an unhealthy fear where you're like trembling and you're terrified. This is like a reverence. Like when I come into the presence of God, when I'm praying, like I need to recognize who I'm praying to. And I know, of course, there's no right or wrong way to pray, but there is a way that we should be approaching our Father. Like we should recognize that he's holy, that he's sovereign, that he's the King of Kings, that he's, well respected. Like there's just it's a posture, a heart posture that I feel like the Lord is continuing to mold and shape. And I just really like the way that John Bevere has been explaining this. And I've been using this every day in my quiet time just to kind of start it off. Plus it goes into like detail of like different scriptures that I can go and study on my own time. And then I've been reading that with the Enduring Word Bible commentary. So it's been good. It's been really good. I feel like God is continuing to purify and refine my heart. One of my biggest concerns is I always pray like God, I pray like I would never lose reverence for you. I pray that I will continue to grow in the awe and the fear of God, because the fear of God is what keeps you, right? You can love God but not fear him. You can say you love him, but then you do things that are the opposite of, of the love. Like you don't come to him. Like the fear of God will keep you from doing these things that, can pull you away from God. Like none of us are above falling. None of us are above, doing things that are, that will grieve the Holy Spirit. So we need to have a healthy reverence and fear of God that he will keep us, right? It keeps you, right? Even, it talked about Joseph, right? It was the fear of God that kept him from, giving into the seduction of Potiphar's wife. He literally said, he resisted her when she was lustfully calling after him. And he said, not only has, my master Potiphar given me all of, control and charge of everything in his household, but I dare not sin against God. Right? Like nobody probably would have known if he would have slept with his wife. They probably would have kept it a secret or whatever. But the fear of God kept him from, defiling himself and defiling this place of power that he put him in. So get the book. I got it from my library. I wish that I had just bought this copy of my own, because I would have highlighted all up in it. But I've been I told you guys, I have the Garden Cafe inside of my Notion template, where I've just been storing all of the notes about the books that I read. Because sometimes when I'm journaling, my handwriting can get really messy if I'm getting excited, and then I'm not able to go back and reference what I read. So I've really been liking just having everything in one place, and then I can go back and say, oh, this is the revelation I learned from there. So long story short, I love the book. Anyway, it's post-Thanksgiving. We all kind of slept in. I didn't eat as much as I thought I was going to eat, which is surprising for me, because usually the food was good, but for the first time, I was aware when my body was full. I don't know if I told you guys, but I was dealing with I would say binge eating. I was overeating a lot. And so I've been trying to really practice just being aware of when my body is full and not pushing myself past things, even if the food real good, because if the food good, I'm eating it. And that's the problem. But since I've been doing my food diary every day and journaling what I eat and stuff like that, it's helped me to be more aware of what I'm putting into my body. And I'm just trying to slowly transform this process without going to a really extreme, because it's I could either undereat or overeat, and I'm trying to find the balance in between. So that's something that I'm doing, is just paying attention when I feel full. The food was really good. It's always a blessing to be able to sit around a table with my family. God is just, oh my God, he's done so much in our lives this year. And he's just been so faithful. So it was just such a beautiful blessing to be able to, have that holiday meal, watch my parents put on the holiday music and dance in the living room, little moments like that. Those are the memories that I'm going to hold on forever. There's never going to be a time again where me and all my family, all my siblings live under one roof together. So I'm really just treasuring these moments and just being super grateful. So yeah, right now we're about to clean up a little bit. I gotta wash my sheets, fold this laundry, y'all. Like, if y'all don't see me fold this laundry in the vlog, please comment like, girl, I know that laundry not still sitting inside of your room like that, because I'm looking at it and it looks a mess. So I'm gonna fold some laundry. I'm gonna do my weekly planning. I may or may not go grocery shopping today, only because we have so much food left over and we don't even really have room in the fridge for me to be getting all the groceries that I usually would. So I might just go grocery shopping on Monday. But yeah, if we do some Black Friday shopping, I know we're gonna look at some prom dresses for my sister tomorrow. So that'll be in like the next vlog. Yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's go do some cleaning and reset. If you need to get your life together, let's do it together, friends. I was just thinking about how I literally hate laundry so much that I should be one of those people who just wears like a daily uniform. Like in any of the jobs I've ever had, I never had to wear a uniform besides like the waitressing jobs I had when I was in college. Like, but it was just so much easier to just have a uniform and wear the same thing every day. Like you have like, you know, your couple pairs of it, the same thing, you could just change out so you don't have to do all this laundry. But in 2025, I'm going to start exploring more color for my wardrobe. Yes, I am a neutral, minimalist kind of girl, but at the same time, like, because my face doesn't naturally read as like super inviting and friendly, like my resting face is pretty intense, I'm thinking that I want to start looking more inviting, and that means I might explore certain colors. Because literally when I tell you I only have 3 loads of laundry, I have my grays and lights or whatever, my darks, blacks, and my whites. That's literally my entire wardrobe. Anything that's like a colored material, I literally just have my mom wash her stuff because it's not even a big enough load to wash. So yeah, I get rid of stuff every single week. Like it's already a pile of stuff. Every time I do laundry, I just start getting rid of stuff because I just hate clutter and overwhelmed. So if you know you got too much stuff in your house, girl, you know you need to declutter. You missed the decluttering challenge that we did last week. So go and get rid of that stuff that you don't need. And it's not just so you can make room for new things. Sometimes you just don't need the new things and you don't need the old things. You just need to stop doing the things, okay? Just stop, girl. All right, bye. I literally was about to not even post this vlog because I was getting so annoyed and just so tired with how just groggy the day has been. And usually, like I said, I don't base a lot on how I feel with the weather, but today specifically I was just like, Lord, please, where's the sun? And now the sun is out. I apologize for all the banging downstairs. I think my parents just got back home, but let's get into the weekly recap before the sun disappears and I go to sleep. I did start doing laundry, so everything is everywhere right now, but so the highs, I finally finished this one project that has been on my unfinished task part of my Notion for like 2 months now. I just kept getting distracted. I was getting overwhelmed because like I tried to like delegate it. That did not work, but glory be to God, he gave me the grace to get it done literally in 48 hours. So if you have a project that you have been just struggling to get done, please pray to the Lord. Please pray to the Lord and ask him for grace, because you'll be able to get it done in a shorter amount of time, like just working under his grace. Like there are some times where I just, like things just take so long, you know, but God just gave me all the language I needed. He helped me to design it, get it done. So I'm super excited about that because that was a necessary resource that needed to be finished. I can see the sun is about to get real bright and I just feel so excited. Anyway, okay. So yeah, that was the first high. The second high was I really felt the holiday spirit this year. I was super grateful. Like I said, I shared a little bit earlier about, you know, just how good Thanksgiving was. The holiday spirit has been in the air in my house. Like everybody's just been in a good mood. So that's always a blessing. And then the last biggest high was I've been just reflecting a lot on like happiness and joy, and I've really been studying a lot about joy in the Bible. And I was having this talk with my mom yesterday, and we were talking about happiness or whatever. And there have been a lot of times in my life where I was just kind of like, once I get this, I'll be happier. Like when this happens for me, I'll be happier. And then like recently, I feel like it's through like reflection and just kind of leaning on the Lord, I've gotten to this point where I'm going to embrace happiness wherever I am. Circumstances are always changing. There's times when, I'm always going to be waiting on something, right? There's always going to be a prayer request. There's always going to be a new level of faith. There's always going to be something that I want and something that I'm hoping for. But like, I've gotten to this place, like, I feel like through prayer of contentment. And it used to be like contentment out of bitterness, where it's like, I have no choice but to be content, but now it's like, Lord, I am grateful for every moment. I'm grateful for the moments where I get to see my parents dancing in the living room to holiday music. I'm thankful for the dinners that we get to share together. I'm thankful for movie nights and our TV nights where we just watch shows and just spend time together. I'm thankful for this room that the Lord has curated for me to grow closer to Him, to be healed. I'm grateful for the friends in my life. I'm grateful for the people He removed and the new people He brought in. Like, it's been like a constant state of gratitude, and like it's been a lot of fight and prayer to get to this point, because it hasn't always been like that. I usually am a person who's always chasing the next thing, but I'm like, Lord, I'm now on the other side of some of the next things that I prayed for, and there's still these areas where I, was waiting for a thing, and I was like, no more waiting to embrace these moments. Like, every answered prayer is a blessing. Even the unanswered prayers, like, God is very intentional, and He knows like perfect timing, all of these things. So I feel like I genuinely got to a place of godly contentment and not a fake place. How some people just be grateful for where you are, but you don't feel it in your heart. Like, no, I feel like through prayer and God's grace, like He's actually brought me to this place where I can remain hopeful, but also just be so grateful, because, I'm living in a season that I once prayed for, and there'll be another season that comes to that where, I'm living in a season that I prayed for. But for right now, like, there's so much beauty in today. So I mean that from a genuine place, and I'm super grateful for that. The lows for this week were, I kind of fell off my morning routine. There was like a shift. We got the Christmas tree in, and yeah, we put our Christmas tree up super early. So because of that, I had to move my treadmill out of the living room and put it in the dining room. But for a while, the bike was in the dining room. So like there was like 2 days where it was just sitting like folded up, and that kind of threw off my routine. So I fixed that. We put the treadmill back where it was. So today was the first day I got back on my routine. And the strategy for next week, I've been doing this thing called the daily win. Sorry. The sun is out. It is crazy. Let me hurry up because it's getting way too bright for me to talk right here. But, oh God, must have heard me. So for the strategy for next week, I've been doing this thing called the daily win. And this is my way of helping myself not only just be grateful, but also to celebrate the small wins. I told you guys one of the things I was always struggling with was thinking about the next thing, thinking about the next goal, the next milestone, not even really celebrating in between. So I'm trying to capture something good that happened in my day, whether it's big or small, that I can just be grateful for. And I can look back throughout the year and see, okay, you know what? You were able to have a daily win every day. And sometimes it's just like a mindset shift. Sometimes it's a revelation. Sometimes it's a goal that I checked off for a task that's completed, but it's just helping me to practice just a little bit beyond gratitude, but just really looking for the good in each day. So that is going to be something that I continue doing. I'm also going to continue with doing my food diary, just keeping track of like my food and what I'm eating. And then it's going to be December 1st next week. Wow, that's my birthday month. I was born 3 days before Christmas, the best present my mom ever got. I'm just kidding. But yeah, my birthday month is coming up literally next week. So I'm going to do our family vision board night. And I told you guys that my strategy for vision board has always been to align the prophetic words that God has given me with visual images, so that way I can always be reminded of those things. And I put it as like the desktop background of my laptop, and I really like that because I was able to see it every day. I'm not a big like print things out kind of girl, because I don't like clutter and things that just can be visually overstimulating for me, so having it on my laptop really helps. So we're gonna do that as a family. It's something that we've been doing for the past 3 years, and everybody really enjoys that time. We just make it on Canva, but we all just kind of sit together and do it and reflect on how our year was. So I'm excited about that. Also, another thing I'm going to be implementing is like a regular cleaning schedule. I know like every week I do my like weekly reset, but I don't always clean all the areas that I need to clean every single week. But I noticed that like not doing that, like certain things would get backed up, like laundry has been backed up for like the past month, which is like unusual. And it's probably because I just haven't been having as much energy as usual. So I'm getting ready to make a solidified cleaning schedule so that way myself and everybody in the house can just stay on task and things don't get backed up. And so it'll be a lot easier to just to have it written down instead of trying to think about that like as a whole nother thing. So yeah, that's our weekly recap. I'm so excited for December, Christmas shopping, and all those other things. So it's going to be a really good month. Let me know how your week has been and one thing that you're going to do differently next week. And I will talk to you guys on the next video. Bye.